You think IKEA makes money selling cheap furniture? The flat pack bookcase, the $20 lamp, the desk you wrestle home in a box and build yourself on a Sunday afternoon, swearing at a tiny Allen key. That's the picture of furniture store that wins by being cheap. But the cheap furniture is bait. IKEA built one of the most recognizable retail machines on earth by getting you to do the work. And by quietly owning something you never see on the shelf, the brand itself. The money comes from somewhere other than where you think. On the surface, IKEA is exactly what it looks like. Across the whole system, IKEA stores sold around 45 billion euros of furniture and home goods in its 2024 financial year, about 45.1 billion, actually down 5% on the year before. The whole proposition is low price. A bookcase for under $100, a meatball plate for the cost of a coffee. So the obvious story is volume. I sell enormous quantities of affordable stuff, keep each margin thin, and make it up in scale. That part is true. IKEA really does move furniture by the warehouse load, and it leans into it hard. In that same year, IKEA says it spent about 2.1 billion euros just lowering prices. It treats low price not as a result but as something it pays for on purpose every year. And it works as a magnet. Even in a down year for sales, the crowds grew, store visits rose about 4.5%, and online visits jumped 21%. So the puzzle gets sharper. The headline number went down, the prices were pushed down on purpose, the crowds went up, and yet this is still one of the most durable retail operations in the world. Cheap furniture sold in volume doesn't explain that. It doesn't explain how the prices got that low in the first place, or who's actually paying for the parts of the business that usually cost a furniture company the most. Because in normal furniture retail, the expensive parts aren't the wood. They're the shipping, the warehousing, the showroom staff, and the assembly. IKEA found a way to make somebody else cover most of that, Here's where the money really comes from, and it's two answers stacked on top of each other. The first is that IKEA doesn't just sell you furniture. Design commentary describes it as selling you a job. Flat pack isn't only a style choice, it's a cost weapon. A flat box of parts ships and stacks far denser than an assembled sofa, so transport and warehouse cost per item collapses. Then the last two expensive steps, driving it home and screwing it together, get handed to you for free. You become IKEA's delivery driver and IKEA's assembly worker. Self-service does the same thing on the shop floor. You walk the warehouse aisles, you pull your own boxes, so the store runs on fewer staff. Every cost a normal retailer eats, IKEA shifts toward the customer, and the result is a price tag that looks impossible. The second answer is bigger, and almost nobody sees it. IKEA isn't one company, it's two, and they're separate by design. One side, IKEA owns the concept, the brand, the designs, the product range. It's the franchisor. It doesn't run your local store at all. The other side, Ingka Group, is the franchisee that actually operates most of the stores you walk into. And Ingka is big. It accounts for roughly 88% of all IKEA retail sales worldwide. In its 2024 financial year, Ingka's total revenue was about 41.8 billion euros, with its IKEA retail sales around 39.6 billion. So the company most people think of as IKEA is on paper a tenant, a franchisee paying to use a name it doesn't own, and it pays for that name. Franchisees like Ingka are widely reported to pay IKEA a franchise fee on the order of 3% of sales, just for the right to use the brand and the concept. Think about what that means. A few percent of tens of billions in sales, flowing every year to the company that owns the brand. For selling no furniture at all. Every IKEA franchisee on earth feeds that same arrangement. The brand owner doesn't need to win on any single sofa. It earns off the top of the whole system, in good years and bad. And notice how cleanly the two answers fit together. The work you do, the driving, the assembling, the walking of the warehouse, is what holds the prices down. The held down prices are what feed the volume. And the volume is what the franchise fee skims a slice from, no matter which store rings up the sale. The customer's unpaid labor and the brand owner's quiet percentage aren't two separate tricks, they're the top and bottom of the same machine. You think the value is in the furniture. The structure says the value is in owning the name that sits over all of it, and in getting 45 billion euros of customers to do the heavy lifting for free. So why does this structure work so well? Because each piece protects the others. Flat, pack and self-service push cost toward you, which lets the prices stay genuinely low. Genuinely low prices, the kind IKEA spends 2 billion euros a year to push lower, pull in enormous crowds. the 4.5% more visits even in a soft year. And then the store is built to turn those crowds into bigger baskets. That winding one-way path through the showroom, the one that feels impossible to shortcut, is deliberate. Design commentary calls it the long natural way. It marches you past nearly every product in the building, so you leave with the picture frames, the tea lights, the storage bins you never planned to buy. The cheap headline item gets you in, the layout does the rest. Even the meatballs are part of the machine. Food isn't a sideshow, it's about 6% of IKEA's revenue, and it's been growing around 8% a year since 2016. In its 2024 financial year alone, IKEA sold 1.2 billion meatballs. The famous line associated with the company is that nobody wants to shop on an empty stomach. A 99-cent hot dog and a cheap plate of meatballs aren't really there to make money on lunch. They keep you in the building longer, and a longer visit is a bigger basket. The food is bait for the furniture is bait for the basket, and the basket plays out across a system the brand owner sits on top of, and that's the quiet logic of the split. Ingka takes on the risk and the cost of running physical stores, the real estate, the staff, the inventory, the down years like 2024 when sales actually fell. IKEA sits above it, owning the concept and earning from the brand across every franchisee in good years and bad. The furniture is where the work is. The brand is where the safety is. One side absorbs the weather, the other owns the climate. So here's what IKEA really is. Not simply a furniture company that sells cheap, a system that turns you into part of the workforce, and turns its own name into something the whole operation pays to use. You think you got a bargain. You also did the shipping, the assembly, walked the long natural way, bought the meatballs, one of 1.2 billion that year, and shopped in a store that, on paper, rents the brand from a separate company most people have never heard of. Once you see it, you spot it everywhere. A price looks too good to be true. Somebody is doing unpaid work, and somebody upstairs owns the name. That's the loss leader playbook. Give away the obvious thing, earn on everything around it. Next time we plug in the headphones, because the company that streams the world's music makes almost nothing on the music itself. That's Spotify, and the song is not the product.